Hey friends, it's Laurie. Thanks so much for stopping by. Let's go make something. I'm starting my Merry and Bright wreath by using one of the Dollar Tree 14-inch wire forms. And of course, the inspiration for my wreath, the Merry and Bright wooden cutout. I'll also be using about a roll and a half of the red, white, and green mesh. You'll need some chenille stems or pipe cleaners. I'm using these from the Dollar Tree. I just happen to have them in my stash, but any color will work. I'll be cutting my pieces of mesh at 10 inches, and to make it easier, I've cut out this 10-inch piece of cardstock. I start by wrapping my mesh around the card, and once it's complete, I then cut it at both ends. I'm doing this for all three colors, and it makes cutting the mesh so much easier and quicker. I'm using the classic Christmas colors for my wreath, but I think there are an array of holiday colors that would also work nicely. With my mesh now cut and ready, I'm going to cut some of my chenille stems in half. For this wreath, I want a large open curl. I'm using a single piece of mesh and I'm not rolling it too tightly. When I'm done, I place one of the half chenille stems over the center and twist it together. I'm adding 14 curls per section, so I'm making 28 in each color for a total of 84. When you're done, you'll have a pretty bouquet of mesh curls. Adding my mesh to the wreath, I'm going to be working on the two outer sections and the two inner sections. I'm starting with my red and I'm wrapping my chenille stems around the two outer rails on the form. Once that's attached, I'm now going to add my white, but this time on the two inside rails of the form. With my red and white attached, I'm now adding my green, and this time I'm attaching it back to the two outer sections. I like to turn my form upside down when I'm attaching the mesh, just to be sure that I have the curls centered in between the sections. I'm continuing on adding my colors and alternating back and forth from the outside section to the inside section until my wreath is completely covered. This looks so pretty just with the curls, but I'm going to be making it merry and bright by adding on some pretty ribbon. I'm making my wreath today as part of the Christmas Crafting with Friends Collab, and it's being hosted by Kiki from Kiki's DIY. She has an amazing channel that I will link below, along with the group playlist of crafting friends, making our holiday videos as a special gift to all our wonderful subscribers. I'm using what I already have on hand, and I did buy these at Michael's last year after Christmas. They are two different patterns and they are both 2.5 inches wide. I'm also using some white ribbon that I purchased at Michael's at the same time, and this is 1.5 inches. To make the bow for my wreath, I'm measuring a 6-inch tail. I'm pinching it together and then measuring out an 8-inch loop. I'm going to pinch it, add it to my tail, and then make an additional 8-inch loop. Once I pinch it, I'm going to slightly twist it and add it to my other loop. To finish, I measure and cut another 6-inch tail. I'm going to use a clip to hold my bow together while I cut my next ribbon. To make my white bow, I'm following the exact same instructions. I'm going to make a 6-inch tail, 2 8-inch loops, and then a final 6-inch tail. Now that I'm done, I'm removing the clip and adding the two bows together. I'm using a piece of floral wire. I'm placing it over the top of the two ribbons and then twisting it together tightly. I fluffed open my bow and now I'm dovetailing the ends. Dovetailing is super easy. You just fold the ribbon in half and cut away at an angle. I'm making 8 bows in all, and after I make my first 4, I'm then making my second 4 following the exact same instructions. Now that all 8 are complete, I'm going to be adding them to the wreath. I fluffed my bows open and then found the 2 center sections on the form. Using the 2 wires on my bow, I placed them over the supports. I flipped my wreath over and then I twisted them on tightly. After I attached my first bow, I then, using the same patterned bow, attached my next one directly across from the first. Keeping with the same pattern of bow, I then attached my next 2 by doing the exact same thing and attaching them directly across from each other. For my second patterned bow, I followed the exact same instructions, attaching each one across from the other. For me, this is the easiest way to attach the bows and to make sure that they are evenly spaced around the wreath. Once all my bows were added and in place, I went around the wreath and I fluffed them up. I'm painting my Merry and Bright sign with my red, white, and green acrylic paint. Like I said before, I chose to use Christmas colors for this project, but I think there are so many seasonal colors that would look just as pretty. Now that it has dried, I'm hot gluing 4 pieces of floral wire onto the back. I'm placing my hot glue on the 4 corners. I'm folding my floral wire in half and then popping it into place. Once the glue has set up, I'm centering the sign on the middle of the wreath and I'm attaching the wires underneath. I'm using floral wire, but chenille stems will work just as well. With my sign attached, I'm now going to add on some mini ornaments. I bought these last year and I can't remember if I bought them at the Dollar Tree, but I do know that the Dollar Tree sells them in single color packs. Using my hot glue gun, I'm placing a dab of glue in the center of each of the bows, and then I'm alternating the green-red color with my ornaments. With all my smaller ornaments in place, I'm now going to add the next size up. I'm adding these red and green ornaments to the outside of the wreath. Once again, I'm using my hot glue gun and I'm going to glue them directly onto the mesh. I'm alternating the colors of red and green and I'm attaching them in between each of the bows on the outer edge of the wreath. With these pretty ribbons and our sparkly ornaments, our Merry and Bright wreath is complete and ready to hang. I hope you enjoyed making this wreath with me, and if you're new and you haven't yet subscribed and you think, hey, I'd like to come back and hang out with her again, don't forget to click that little red subscribe button below. I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.